In my new video with CRAFTSY.com, I show you how to make sugar shoes from scratch. And one of the things I show is by making the sole and the heel out of pastillage. That makes them super secure. It's a super easy recipe and I want to show you how to do it. I'm Elisa Strauss and we're mixing it up in the kitchen today. Before I started making sugar shoes, I had never made pastillage before. And in fact, it really scared me because everyone had told me you have to work really quickly. But it's actually pretty easy to make and to work with. It just uses 3 ingredients. One being water, the other being just confectioner's sugar, and the third ingredient is Tylose. And I get this at Chef Rubber. They're a great resource for that, and you can get it at most cake decorating supply places. I'm also going to use a little bit of cornstarch at the end just to knead it all together. Let's get started. Now, just like when I make royal icing, I want my bowl not to have any fat in it. So if you're using a mixer that you use also for your buttercreams and cakes and other butter recipes with fat, you want to just clean it out with vinegar. Make sure there's no extra grease inside. Then I'm just going to take my confectioner's sugar and pour it in. If you find that it's very gritty, then you will want to go ahead and sift it ahead of time. So I get it all into the bowl. And then I'm going to just sprinkle in my Tylose. And this is the magical ingredient that's going to firm up our sugar. So I get it all in, and then I'm going to turn on my mixer and start it mixing. And then I'm going to gradually add the water. But once I add the water, you have to work quickly. So what I'm going to do is actually put down some cornstarch on my surface. And then when it all comes together, I'm going to take the ball out of the mixer onto my cornstarch. So I'm ready to go. So I just gradually pour in the water. You'll see it'll make kind of like a sticky dough at first, and then it's going to come together, really incorporate well. And the one thing you want to be careful of is the motor of your mixer. It becomes so hard that if you hear your motor slowing down, then stop it and you can finish kneading it onto your surface. Because remember, the pastillage, the whole point of why we're using it is because it becomes super hard and structurally sound. Okay, I have it all together now. So I'm going to lift it out and stick it all together and onto my surface. When I first heard about pastillage, people made it sound so scary and that I didn't have a second to breathe. You do have a few seconds to breathe, but you don't want to go answer the phone. And I also don't pronounce the 2 L's. I think I've heard people in different countries say pastillage. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about and you're from another country, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Okay, so you can see it's a nice malleable dough, but I'm not going to waste any time. So I just quickly start kneading it. And if you find that it gets sticky on your hands, then just go ahead and get some cornstarch right on your hands. But you do want to be careful not to let all these little tidbits go out on your surface because later those will harden and you don't want to start getting the hardened bits into your dough. And the key here is to just keep moving it and knead it together. A lot of pastillage recipes start with royal icing and then they form it into the dough. I haven't found that it really makes a difference. I've been really happy with this recipe. It's super quick and easy. And after making so many shoes over the course of my cake career, I find that this works great. And the way you know that you're done kneading the dough is it should make a nice smooth ball and it shouldn't be sticky to the touch anymore. So once you know that you can put your hand on it or put it on the table and it doesn't stick and it feels nice and incorporated, then it's ready to be wrapped. I usually wrap it at least twice and I leave it in an airtight container overnight. So you want to make it at least the day before you're ready to use it, just so it has some time to sit. Then, after you have it and it's all nice and wrapped up, you can save it for about 6 months. So, that's all there is. See, that wasn't so hard. The pastillage is nice and wrapped, and remember, you can dye it any color you want. Here, for the goth shoe, I dyed it black, you could dye it red, even pastel colors. You can also let it dry for 24 hours and go ahead and paint it in metallics and gel. Remember, the recipe is down below with all of the ingredients I used, and if you want to learn how to make sugar shoes, check out the link down below where I give you 50% off my new CRAFTSY class. I'm Elisa Strauss, and we're mixing it up in the kitchen today.